Hey guys, Greg Silverman here for CIOs and Bow Ties, and another weekly article that everyone liked, and in our Come Learn With Me series in beautiful Central Park behind me over here. So come learn with me. Let's have a look. This was called The 10 Ways Renewable Energy's Boom Year Will Shape 2021. Renewable energy, that's an interesting aspect. This comes from Bloomberg Green, Mr. Green. And this, of course, is a paid-for article, but you do get some free articles if you have just logged into Bloomberg. Wind turbines and solar panels in this aerial photograph taken near Fuxing, China, on November 6, 2020. Okay. Even after COVID has wreaked havoc on almost everything else, the new year begins with surging growth for renewable energy. 2020 was a year of positive surprises for the environment in a way that very few saw coming, says Jeff McDermott, head of Namur Green Tech. It was the breakout year in sustainability and infrastructure. Growth will likely continue to 2021, fueled in part by last year's major turning points. China has now committed to reaching carbon neutrality by 2060, putting the world's biggest market for solar and wind power on the path to ramp up installations as it begins its next 5-year plan. Some analysts have started predicting that the U.S. power sector is approaching peak natural gas. That would leave room for solar panel installations to build on the ongoing boom. To understand what's driving the renewable expansion as well as what might hold it back, we put together a guide to the biggest recent developments and the major forces shaping the global renewable market in 2021. All right. Just make sure we need to highlight if we need to highlight anything. China, let's keep going. Okay. America's solar broke good and bad records in the same year. Residential installations in the U.S. dropped nearly 20% in the second quarter of 2020 from the first, the most ever as the pandemic prompted stay-at-home. So let's highlight that. Okay. Stay-at-home orders, according to Wood Mackenzie and the Solar Energy Industries Association. By the end of the year, however, the sector bounced back and the country added 19 gigawatts of total solar power based on projections in December from Wood Mackenzie and SEIA. That would be slightly more power than existed in the entire nation of Colombia at the end of 2019, according to Bloomberg NEA. Let's take that down. Okay. Capacity surge. U.S. solar power installations in the first 9 months of 2020 reached a record. Installations doubled in China. Even after the government locked down large swathes of the country early in the year, businesses still wanted solar. The country's main solar industry group expects a record surge in business over the next 5 years following President Xi Jinping's September announcement that the country will be zero out carbon emissions by 2060. All right. I think that's all pretty pertinent. Okay. China's photovoltaic industry sees new installations soaring through 2025. 5-year plan. Remember, China always has a centrally planned 5-year plan. A battery boom in the U.S. New battery storage capacity in the U.S. more than doubled in the third quarter of 2020 from the second, according to Wood Mackenzie and the U.S. Energy Storage Association. Projects in California were a key reason for the surge. I think that's okay. Let's highlight a battery boom in the U.S. Projects in California. Head west, my boy, head west. Okay. Battery surge. U.S. deploys more storage in a single quarter thanks to California projects. Spain emerges as solar powerhouse. Electricity from solar farms in the country with Europe's greatest solar potential was up over 60% in 2020 compared to 2019, generating over 15,000 gigawatt hours of power. according to data from the country's grid manager, Red Electrica. While the sunny southern European countries still has about a third of the installed solar capacity, as the EU's leader, Germany, Spain sector set to grow at about double the Germans' pace in the next 2 years, according to Bloomberg. I think it's just hit that as the key word, right? Solar Spain, Europe's most sunshine. You remember Spain was decimated by the 2008 financial crisis, just something I just thought about, especially on the property market. Europe's most sunshine-rich country has seen a surge in solar power. Okay. Renewables top fossil fuels in European energy. During the height of the pandemic, when overall power demand sank, renewable power's share of the grid surged in Europe. About 40% of electricity in the first half of 2020 in the European Union came from renewable sources, compared with 34% from plants burning fossil fuels, according to environmental group Ember. Green boost, renewable power beat out fossil fuels in the EU for the first time. UK goes coal-free for more than 2 months. A 67-day period became Britain's longest stretch without coal since the Industrial Revolution. Wow, that's a long time ago. And helped make 2020 the country's greenest year yet for its power grid. Britain is going to completely phase out the polluting fuel by 2025 as a growing share of its power comes from wind farms. Prime Minister Boris Johnson also vowed to ban new gas-powered cars by 2030 and spend $1 billion this decade to capture carbon emissions from at least 2 industrial hubs. I like this part. Britain's longest stretch without coal since the Industrial Revolution. Being a bit of a history nerd myself. All right. Solar installations dropped in India by a lot. India's debt-burdened utilities were further battered by the world's largest lockdown in 2020, leading to a 72% drop in solar installations and the slowest addition of wind power in more than a decade. On the plus side, though, bids to develop new solar projects continue to set new records, meaning that once power company finances are in order, it's a good bet that solar will be the cheapest option. Another bit of good news was the clearer skies when factories and streets were empty meant that there wasn't as much smog blocking the sunshine, allowing for higher generation from the country's existing panels. Australia's grid is overwhelmed. High power prices and abundant sunshine have spurred a love affair with rooftop solar. About 29% of households now outfitted with the panels. That's wreaking havoc on power utilities with daytime demand for electricity from the grid falling to record lows in 3 states in 2020, leaving expensive power plants running well below capacity. It's about the grid being overwhelmed. High power. Okay, what else we got? Solar panel makers facing rising prices. An explosion and a flood shut down 2 Chinese factories that produce polysilicon, a crucial material for photovoltaic cells, sending prices up 75% in less than 2 months. Solar glass prices also soared as increased use of 2-sided or bifacial panels boosted demand, while capacity was constrained by limits on heavily polluting glass factories in China. Rising costs have so far not affected sales, but they've rippled through the solar supply chain, with module prices experiencing the first quarterly rise since 2015. That could be bad news for project developers who bid low prices, assuming equipment costs will continue to follow their long historic decline. Pricey polysilicon. Wow, look at that. Was it $6 per kilogram back in June? All the way to 10. We don't want that. A new climate change risk. While electricity shuttles prompted by wildfire risk has contributed to mounting U.S. homeowner interest in rooftop systems and batteries, Northern Californians in September learned a cruel irony. Smoke from a large blaze blotted out the sun, and so rooftop solar withered. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need the sun. All right. U.S. wind power installation surged to record. Oh, that's another one. Oh, there you have it, guys. What's that? Oh, the wind power article. Apparently, these turbines are bad for birds. But anyway. All right, guys. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this section of Come Learn With Me. I certainly did. I learned some stuff about solar energy, an area where we are definitely looking and playing in. So be well. Join us soon for another one. Bye.